We will start our meeting within 5 minutes. Dr. Tapati Mukherjee এবং Dr. Choudhury from Kurukshetra University, they are joining with us very shortly.
আপনি যাকে বলছেন
Girish Kumar sir, good afternoon. Thank you for joining with us, sir.
Yeah, very good afternoon. Thank you so much for inviting.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Dr. Mathuria sir. Mathuria sir, good afternoon. Mathuria sir, am I audible? Abhinav sir, good afternoon, sir. Thanks for joining with us. Arindam, as soon as Tapati madam will join, we will start.
Okay.
She is just joining. खास करके गिरीश कुमार सर को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद क्योंकि सर आज बहुत ही बिजी थे, फिर भी उसने आज टाइम दिया हमारे लिए. थैंक यू सर. Okay, Arindam, Tapati madam has joined, so we will start. So please. Arindam, am I audible?
Yes.
Ma'am, thank you
Yes,
for
yes,
joining
you are
with us.
Yes, Dr.
Thank you,
Vishit, you are
sir.
audible.
Yes,
Good
yes.
afternoon, all of you.
Okay.
And ma'am, Girish Kumar sir has joined today. We are honored that sir has joined.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of SAIARD, I, Orindam Ray, the Program Director of SAIARD, welcome all of you to the one-day international webinar on geospatial technology and contemporary research organized by CAG Center, SAIARD. First, I would like to request our Chief Partner, Sir Vishwajit Rai Chaudhuri, the Chairman of SAIARD, to say the inaugural speech over this program. So, Mr. Rai Chaudhuri, over to you.
Thank you, Arindam, our program director, Arindam Ray, for inviting me. And also on behalf of South Asian Institute for Advanced Research and Development, I would like to heartily welcome to all of you, all the dignitaries, especially our Chief Guest, Lieutenant General Girish Kumar Sir, our Honorable Surveyor General, Survey of India, Government of India, our guest of honor, Dr. Tapati Banerjee Ma'am, Director, National Atlas and Thematic Mapping Organization, our honorable speakers, Dr. Chaudhuri from Kurukshetra University, Sri D.P. Mathuria sir from NMCG Ministry of Jal Shakti, Arvind Walia sir from Australia, and also Shamir Saran sir, Dr. Shamir Saran sir, from IARS, Direct Head of Geoinformatics Cell, for being the speaker and for being joining with us in this August gathering. So with this, I would like to say a few words about the SAIARD initiative, South Asian Institute for Advanced Research and Development, SAIARD. We have developed this platform since the last 2 years. We have worked particularly with the three objectives for the skill development, for entrepreneurship development, as well as to generate the employment opportunities, even to strengthen the hands of both our government and public private organizations. Since our journey, we have associated with the different government organizations. In collaboration, we have worked lots of training workshops in the field of geoinformatics cell, in the field of urban platform, because we have developed several wings under the SAIARD. Among them, the Center for Applied Geoinformatics, through which this international webinar we have conducted. We have developed the Center for Climate Research and Studies in collaboration with the IMD, Government of India. We have started the Center of Geoinformatics in association with the NATMO, because we have a MOU with the NATMO. We are conducting lots of training programs, mostly in the skill development and capacity building sectors, and also to enhance the capacities of the students for the geoinformatics field. Along with that, we have developed another center for the Center for Urban Planning and Research, which is also associated with the Ministry of Urban Affairs, both the Government of India and the West Bengal. Along with that, we have continuously doing lots of academic programs in collaboration with the different universities and lots of universities throughout the India. They have signed MOU with us, and in perspective of the Atmanirbhar Bharat or the skill development sectors, particularly we are focusing to develop not only the skill of our students of our country. Along with that, we are also trying to focus on the enhancement, the employment opportunities of our students, along with the supporting strength, along with to become a supporting strength with the government sectors also. And in this perspective, right now, there are several, not only the government organizations, but also the international bodies. They have also come with us and wants to associate with us. And definitely, I think in a perspective of Indian perspective, it's really a good impact for us. And also, we would like to develop this platform in collaboration with you, with your association. And in this platform today, the program which we particularly focus on the geospatial technology, because we know that geospatial science has become a burning concept related to the planning in every aspect. And through this Center of Applied Geoinformatics, we would like to associate, we'd like to develop these type of activities in future also, and with in your association also. So here, the honorary dignitaries, I will be very honored that you have joined with us. You will guide us, you will share your viewpoints, how we can work in for the future development perspectives. And also with your guidance, definitely hope we can do a better future for our future generations. Thank you. Vande Mataram.
Thank you, Mr. Roy Chaudhary. Now I would invite Mr. Devojyoti Mondik, the faculty of CAG Center, SAIARD, to express his view over today's webinar. Mr. Mondik, over to you.
Thank you. Firstly, I would like to thank all the dignitaries. A warm welcome, and to all them, a very good afternoon. I, on behalf of the CAG of SAIARD, would like to welcome you in this international webinar on the basis of the contemporary research and the application of the geospatial science. As we all know that in this world of technocratic movement, geospatial science is one of the integrated field of study that can be incorporated in many aspects. But there are some pros and cons. Due to the lack of knowledge or due to the lack of the availability of technological skill development, we are still lagging. We are still banging on the others for the support of our own data bank. So in SAIARD, the Center of Geoinformatics, we are still striving on this matter. How can we develop all the striving forces that can develop through the path of the sustainable development? As a faculty, I would like to welcome all the dignitaries for their notable information and their enlightenment, so that we can be guided in the path of our journey with a blooming sun ahead of us. And we would also like to incorporate one thing, that we are working on the AI/ML technology, that is the future of the geoinformatics, where without any kind of manipulation on the analog surface, we will be developing certain areas that will pave the way for the development of the government as well as for the non-governmental organization. With this ray of hope, I would like to conclude and would not defer any other word to defer the conference, and would like to get into it straight away. Thank you and welcome everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Mollik. Now it is the desired moment for which we are all eager to hear the valuable speech by our Honorable Chief Guest, Lieutenant General Girish Kumar, the Surveyor General of India, of Survey of India. Lieutenant General Girish Kumar is a renowned expert in the geospatial domain with almost 37 years of service experience in wide-ranging areas of surveying, mapping, geospatial policy, GIS application, digital data generation, geospatial infrastructure, and boundary matters, etc. And presently, Lieutenant General Girish Kumar is heading the Survey of India as a Surveyor General of India since October 2017. He is an extraordinary leader and visionary with noted achievement to his credit. I mean, the key role in formulating the national mapping policy of the Government of India in 2005 and pivotal work in preparing the design documents and standard for National Land Record Modernization Program in 2005, modernization of tidal gauge and network of country, etc. As project director of Delhi State Special Data Infrastructure Project, successfully completed the first such data infrastructure project in country and was honored with the National Golden Award for e-governance by the Government of India in 2013-14. For his exemplary contribution in the geospatial field, he has also been awarded the Vishish Seva Medal and the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Card in his career. We are extremely privileged to have him with us, and now your presence will enhance our genre of knowledge. So, Lieutenant General Girish Kumar sir, over to you.
Very good afternoon to all the colleagues and our viewers. First of all, I would like to convey my sincere thanks to Dr. Rabi Roy Chaudhary, Chairman SAIARD, for having invited me to share my thoughts and experience. It's a wonderful opportunity given to us. And the topic what you have selected is very apt nowadays, the geospatial technologies and contemporary research. So geospatial in all the domains is very important. Location is a very important aspect, and it is being used by each one of us in directly or indirectly in many ways. And it is very important for many infrastructure or from security of the country or providing any services to the citizen also. So conventionally, how we used to deal with our geospatial, whether you call in terms of geodetic infrastructure or data acquisition or data processing, data dissemination, or even data storage, there is a big change which has taken place, and the technology has really moved very fast. Now, this is where that now academicians, they have to play a very important role, that to do the research, continuous research, and make India a very Atmanirbhar country. Now, I like to put across certain points which our other colleagues and for viewers to see, decide in what field and what areas they want to go and do the research, which is very essential for geospatial technologies nowadays. See, I'll explain the geodetic infrastructure. Geodetic infrastructure is the basic of any geospatial science. If we don't have the infrastructure itself, then definitely no mapping or no geospatial activities can be carried out. So in the past, we had the GCPs, and then we came to GPS, and now we are talking the CORS network. And slowly we may move to the VLBI, very long base interferometry. So it means earlier we were talking in terms of meters, then we came to decimeters, then we came to centimeters, and now we'll be talking the millimeters. Now, how to utilize this? How can we best serve our citizen? How can we best serve our geospatial using agencies, how to make them more aware and get better and better accuracy for their work. So this is where this is one field which is opening up now. We have already established URS in the country in UP and UK, Uttarakhand, with the help of National Hydrology Project and NMCG project. Now, our aim is to make it more usable. Our aim is to provide best service. So this is one area where certain kind of research is still required so that we can be independent and we can provide better services to the citizen, and we can build capacity in this direction also. This was about the horizontal datum. Then we have the vertical datum. Vertical datum, we all know that heights are known, that mean sea, above mean sea level. Now, mean sea level was a very crude word which we have been using for last 100 years or so. But now we have switched over to the Indian vertical datum. And then we have also started developing GEOID model. GEOID model is definitely going to bring a lot of revolution as well as the height system is concerned in the country. You know that for any infrastructure project, whether it's a highway, canal, or water body, height is very important. And a lot of laborious work doing leveling, whether it's using auto level, digital level, or any other kind of level. So that takes time and money and resources. So once we have the GEOID model for any area, so then the GPS height directly can be converted into orthometric height. Now, again, in this, there is a big scope of research. There are various models. Which model is good? Which model is best for the country? How we can achieve better accuracy? Part of it. We have satellite imagery. Now they are the past. Now people are asking for better and better resolution data. Now we have switched over from high resolution satellite imagery to high resolution, very, very high resolution drone imagery, which is, we are talking about the 5 centimeter GSD. And then LiDAR again, which is talking of the millimeter accuracy level, centimeter accuracy level in terms of imaging also, and as well as height also. Then we have mobile mapping system. And we have the still aerial platforms are also there. So the data acquisition has also undergone a big change. Now, again, a lot of research is required to be carried out in these, how to integrate these data sets, how they can talk to each other, and what is the best way that we can optimally take advantage of the whatever very, very high resolution data what we have acquired. Then moving beyond data processing. So I am very happy to hear that even SAIARD is working on machine learning and artificial intelligence. Yes, conventionally we used to digitize our maps, then carry on the feature extraction. But if we can use machine learning tool, which of course accuracy is very, very important subject in mapping. For visualization, it may not be so important, but when you talk of mapping, then accuracy is very, very important. So using machine learning, how we can make our system very, very fast and very efficient and very accurate. And artificial intelligence, in any case, will be part of data manipulation, data usage, part of it. So machine learning is one of the important aspects. So far, we have not been able to see any good research in this area also. So machine learning and artificial intelligence, these are also few topics where a lot of research is required to be carried out in the country. Then data dissemination. Suppose you have carried out you have acquired data, you have processed it, and you have made it usable format. Now, how do you present it? In the past, we used to carry with the CDs, hard disks. Now that thing is gone. So we are talking of the cloud-based systems. We are talking of the APIs. So again, we need to work hard on this. There are a lot of solutions available in a country or in the worldwide, in the global market. But then as a country, we need to work in these areas, that how best we can serve data to the users. Similarly, even if you have the data, you have disseminated, the amount of data which is being captured is in petabytes. So the storage, archival is again a point of research, that how optimally you can make your system efficient so that the immediate data retrieval and dissemination can be possible.
ये सबमिट कर दिया तूने? ये वहां जमा करके बेटा.
talking to Ministry of Skill Development, various institutes, IITs, we have been signing MOUs. So to make sure that there is sufficient capacity available in the country at each level, whether we talk of the operator level, or we talk of the analytic level, or we talk of the senior manager level. So all managers, all at all levels, the skill development is very, very important. And I'm sure during this webinar, a lot of thought-provoking ideas will come up, and we'll be very happy to get some solutions to the areas where I have expressed my views that research will be very, very important to be undertaken. And once again, I convey my sincere thanks to SAIARD for inviting me, and I convey my best wishes for this webinar. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Girish Kumar sir, for enlightening us. Now, one more moment to honor our special guest, Dr. Tapati Banerjee, the director, the National Atlas and Thematic Mapping Organization. Since her joining in NATMO as director in the year 2016, she has been shouldered with different responsibilities related to administrative, infrastructure, and technology department, etc. By the academic, Dr. Banerjee acquired the doctoral degree in geography from University of Calcutta, and during his career, she has been awarded with Vidyasagar College Contemporary Scholarship in 1982 and Vidyasagar College Contemporary Medal in 1983, and recipient of National Scholarship in 1984-85. Dr. Banerjee is also the recipient of National Award from Prime Minister of India for Science and Technology Intervention in empowering the physically challenged society in geospatial education. Her current research emphasizing on the research inventarization of the India's village for livelihood assessment scenario and analysis of women empowerment in India through science and technology intervention, real-time information broadcasting to visualize COVID-19 scenario in India. Dr. Banerjee is the first woman director of NATMO since its inception in 1956. So today we are very rich in getting her. Dr. Banerjee, over to you. Dr. Tapati Banerjee, can you hear me?
Am I audible?
Yes,
Hello?
yes.
Thank you.
are audible.
Thank you. Very good afternoon to all of you present over here. Really, I am very happy that SAIARD has invited me. I am very much happy to be in the same platform with Surveyor General, Dr. Girish Kumar. Namaskar, sir. And I have seen that the last few years, SAIARD is continuously working in the field of geospatial technology through series of webinars for the development of geospatial technology, especially for development of the students and researchers. As all we know, the geospatial technology is now becoming a part and parcel of our day-to-day life. And almost all the institutes, researchers are working in this field for the societal development, for the environmental research and planning and management, so on and so forth. Now, today, I was just going through a local newspaper which has published the comments from different historians, what they are telling that India has faced the crisis, food crisis, as well as India has achieved the green revolution. So after the Second World War, all we know there was a great development, especially in the technological, industrial and technological sector that has spreaded all over the world, not only in India. At the same time, we have exploited our natural resources. We have this over-exploitation, have misused our resources. So technological development, even at the same time, this technological development that has given us happiness to the human world. And nowadays, we could see even the lower and marginal sector of people in the society, they are properly, means they are extensively using that technology. And but at the same time, our resources are overexploited, as all we know. Under this critical situation, we are also facing a lot of problem of different adverse situations like natural disasters, health disasters. So now the time has come for the proper utilization, judicious utilization of our resources. And there, several institutes, especially Survey of India, they are doing a wonderful job, and they are providing a continuous base of their information data with their technological development. With the technology, they are providing all of their resources to start our work with for the technological, for the development of the society. So with their information, we are continuously working. Under these circumstances, what we need to find out the present conditions has led us to find out that gap areas.
Ma'am, please unmute yourself. Tapati ma'am, please unmute yourself. Yes, yes.
Is it okay?
Yes, yes.
So under these circumstances, what we need to, especially we need to find out the gap areas. We are working, as sir was telling, that now the days has come to use the machine learning, use of artificial intelligence to speed up our jobs, our work. And at the same time, we need to find out our gap areas. Significant research challenges need to be tackled at the nexus of geospatial technology and citizens' knowledge. And therefore, the analysis is required for the social sector, in the policy making, and as well as in the knowledge production processes. Through varying type of scientific knowledges, practical expertise, administrative sector, citizens' knowledge are required, and these all will work together in an integrated and holistic manner for the development of our society, for India's development. And as the government has taken the challenges for Digital India and Make in India program, so under this arena, we should work. Therefore, interdisciplinary, legal, institutional, and social issues are to be considered while working for future research and planning. So many things are to be discussed in this webinar. I hope that SAIARD will continue with that, and come up with some solutions, with some more development. The way out will be come out, some of the thinkings and some of the ideas will come out of this webinar. And I wish a great success of this webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Banerjee. Now this is the time for today's technical session, and today we have two technical sessions, and now I am handing over the responsibility of conducting the technical session to Mr. Debojyoti Mollik, the faculty of CAG Center, SAIARD.
Thank you, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
So today in our technical session, we have dignitaries all over our national circle and who are proven themselves in various arenas of their developmental studies and researches. So for the first technical session, we'll have Dr. B.S. Chaudhary, Chairperson, Department of Geophysics, Kurukshetra University, Kurukshetra, India. So let me introduce him. Dr. Chaudhary is working as the departmental head of geophysics in Kurukshetra University since 23rd of December 2017. He was awarded as DAD German Academic Exchange Services Fellowship at the University of Freiburg in Germany from 97 to 99 and worked on the application of Indian remote sensing satellite data in Black Forest region, Germany. Professor Chaudhary got the Base Paper Award at 18th International Society of Photogrammetry and Remote Sensing Conference at Vienna, Austria, 1996. He was awarded PhD on the Integrated Land and Water Resources Management in the southern part of Haryana, India, using remote sensing and GIS in 2003. He's working in the domain of remote sensing and GIS application for natural resources mapping and management, specializing in water resource, geoenvironmental studies, and disaster management for the last 30 years. He has supervised 10 PhD and had more than 80 publications in various international and national journals. And he's now the member of the editorial team of the book entitled Applications and Challenges of Geospatial Technology, Potential and Future Trends under Springer Publication. He's presently the executive editor of the IAH online journal, e-journal of geohydrology. So Dr. B.S. Chaudhary, may I please welcome you, sir, for your expert comments. Dr. Chaudhary, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your kind words. And I'm really happy that you have given me this opportunity. I would like to share my screen.
Sure, sir.
So is it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I will just make it in the presentation mode. So I am extremely thankful to the Center for Applied Informatics, South Asian Institute for Advanced Research and Development to give me this opportunity. And I will be talking, in Haryana, as the chief guest has rightly set the tone. That's the technology which we are having, the geospatial technology and the Earth observation devices are to be used for the better management of natural resources. So taking a cue from that, I will be talking on an initiative done by Government of Haryana, and that is Mera Pani Meri Virasat. That in Haryana, we are, as you all might be aware, that we are wheat and paddy. Our rotation is there. So, and we are having lot of, we are using lot of groundwater. I will just show you with the figures. So then the government of Haryana started this scheme that we have to really think about the groundwater as a heritage. Then only we can think about the sustainable planning and the sustainable use of the water resources. So why we should talk about water in Indian mythology and Indian culture? We are very aware that we on one side believe on Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, and on the other side we always try to live to the nature. So as you see that Rahiman pani rakhiye bin pani sab soon, pani gaye na ubre moti manus choon. Ya bhagirathi pukarti sun manav nadan dusit kar kyun dalta khatre mein pehchan. As on one side we are not really thinking about conserving the resources which are available, but on the other side you see that we are having a lot of problems related to the pollution, related to the conservation, pressure on the groundwater quality because of the increased use of the fertilizers, insecticide, pesticide, weedicide. So number of things are there. So why we should talk about the water resources? If you see globally, this is becoming one of the very, very important issue and one very, very important topic, because as you see globally that every fourth person will not have safe drinking water by 2050. And 5 million people die of unsafe drinking water every year. And by 2032, 50% of the population will be forced to live in the areas of water scarcity. And if you see the issues related to the quality, that every 8 seconds, one child dies of waterborne diseases. So that is where you can really think about. So the one of the major sector where we are using a lot of water is about 69% is being used in agriculture. So this is the area where we have to think about not yield per hectare, but yield per liter. If this concept is not coming, then we will not be able to really think about it. And you can see that about $30 billion are spent in providing safe drinking water. If we talk about India, we are naturally in a disadvantageous position, because if you see that Asian continent, we are housing 60% of the population and we are having only 36% of the freshwater resources. In comparison to when you talk about Australia, 1% of the population and we are having about 5% of the water resources, and South America 6% of the population, 26% of the water resources. So that continuously focuses that we must think more in terms of the prudent use of the water resources. So if we talk about India, we can see that we are having only 4% of the world water resources, and we are housing 19% of the world population. So this emphasizes more that we have to use all the recent and observation devices, the latest technology, to optimally utilize the resources which are available to us. And it is being wooed by, if you see, that we are able to utilize only 12% of our annual estimated rainfall. And India is one of the country where we are having one of the lowest irrigation efficiency. And when we're talking about per capita availability, that is dwindling. When the country became independent from 1951, it was 5,100 cubic meter, which has now come down to 1,700 cubic meters. So if it is going down by more than 1,000 cubic meters, then it will be really a very, scarcity type of issues. I will focus a little bit more on Haryana. And why so? Because Haryana is one of the prominent agriculture dominant state, and where we are having the issues when we talk about the groundwater, both related to the quality as well as the decline in the water table. So we have to really think about that. On the one side we are having the problem of water table rise, and on the other side we are having a problem of decline of the water table. And to summarize it, the areas where we are having the fresh groundwater quality, there we are having the continuous decline. So the water table is going down and down because we are not able to recharge to the same tune as we would have otherwise. So the issue is how we are able to and how we can use the different geospatial technology tools which are available to us. So we are having the geospatial technology. We are talking about a synergy between remote sensing, GIS, GPS, and information and communication technology. So how we can help it? If you look towards Haryana, we are having in north, we are having the Shivaliks. In the west, we are having the arid sand dune depositions, and in the south we are having the Aravali's, right? So in between we are having the depressional areas where the water table is continuously coming up and the groundwater quality is poor. So what we can, this is just a physiography. So what is the stage of groundwater development? If you see here that we are having about 109% of the stage of development, meaning thereby that if we are recharging 100 units, we are taking 109 units out. So there are the districts like Kurukshetra and Kaithal where the water table has gone down almost by 20-30 meters in last 20-25 years. So you can see that when we're talking about the depth water level, it is not an issue related to one state. And if we talk about Punjab and Haryana, and if we talk about the groundwater condition and the aquifer, you can see that this is across the states. So we have to really think about the prudent ways to optimally utilize the water resources. I'm just giving you an overview. When the Haryana was carved out in 1966-67, so it was 25,000 tube wells were only there, and now the number of tube wells has been 8,43,000. And the Green Revolution, Haryana is one of the state where we are able to utilize the maximum or use the maximum potential of it. But unfortunately, the high doses of fertilizer, pesticide has resulted into land and water degradation. So that's why the government of Haryana started this scheme, and that was that when we are any farmer who is leaving rice and going to maize, he will be compensated 7,000 rupees per acre, so that we can not only conserve the groundwater, but we are also going for the crop diversification. So this is the initiative by government of Haryana, which is being taken up. Now, you can see that when we talk about the Niti Aayog, anxiety, we are talking a lot about that climate change is further dwindling our water resources on one side, and on the other side we are talking about that we have to increase our irrigation efficiency by 20% by 2035. So how our geospatial technology can help in that, and not only that, to achieve the sustainable development goals, which are the goals where we have to think about achieving the no poverty, and we are talking about the clean water and sanitation, the sustainable goal number 6, and also we are talking about life on the land and life below the water and climate action as goal number 13. So if you see the footprints of different, food items which we eat, there also you will see that almost 1 kg of rice is going to, cost about 5,000 to 7,000 liters of water. And whereas if you talk about beef, we are talking about 1 kg of beef is going to take 15,000, more than 15,000 liters of the water. So we have to somehow balance the things where we have to think. So how we can achieve the water security? Water security can be achieved in an integrated manner by thinking about not only the rainwater harvesting, groundwater targeting, but interlinking of the rivers and watershed development. So all the things we have to take together, and then we have to go. So I will just quickly show you the case study, and then I would like to conclude, because I'm having some other session in between. So it was the study where we have carried out the watershed conservation and management. So this is a tributary of Ghaggar, where we are having this is a part of Haryana and Himachal Pradesh. So this is the satellite image. You can see that we are in the forested area, we are in the agriculture areas here. This is the geological map of the area, which has been made from the satellite image along with the existing geological maps which are available. We have prepared the geomorphology map, identifying the different landforms from the satellite image, and then we have prepared the drainage map of the watershed. Why we prepare all these type of the map, I will just show you. So this is a drainage map, and then the digital elevation map. We have prepared the slope map. We have prepared the aspect map of the area. We have prepared the land use land cover map. I'm sure because we all are from geospatial background, we know about all these type. But what I want to emphasize is that we can prepare these type of maps. And if you see that previous map is of 1999, 2000, and this is 2015 and 16, and we can see the changes, how the land use is being changes. So this is the change detection map we have prepared, and then we can prepare the soil map, and we can derive the soil erosion risk map. We can calculate by using the revised universal soil loss equation that what are the different units which are contributing more, so that we can really think about the watershed conservation and management in a proper way. So we can also identify the areas which are potential from the groundwater point of view, where we can target for the further prospection of the groundwater, right? So why we have to prepare these type of the maps, because ultimately we have to integrate the surface and the groundwater resources. Groundwater resources are going to help us in really understanding that these are the areas where we can go for further exploration. And on the other side, we can identify some of the sites where we can go for the harvesting. As you see here, that we have proposed some structures where we can go for the water harvesting. So when we are talking about the remote sensing, GIS, GPS, and information communication technology putting together, nowadays we talk a lot about GIS science, or we talk about geospatial technology. So these are some of the examples where we can use these type of technologies for preparing the maps, and then we can prepare the prudent land and water resources action plan map, so which ultimately will help us in the prudent use of the land and the water resources. So what is the way forward? The way forward is, as now we are talking about, that we have to think about smart water techniques for various crops. And these smart water techniques will emphasize on, instead of yield per hectare, to yield per liter, where we have to think about the crop water requirement, we have to think about the irrigation efficiency, we have to think about the integration of the surface and the groundwater resources, and then we have to think about managing the water in a smart way and Internet of Things. So that will take us towards the integrated use of these resources. So just to conclude, I would like to say that instead of the political boundaries-based planning, we must have the watershed-based plannings, because we can have the better understanding of the problems and the issues which are present over there, and the issues of the upper catchment and the lower catchment can be taken together, and we have to we can solve these in a better way. This also helps us in appreciating the spatio-temporal characteristics of the watershed. And as you know that Dr. Girish and Madam Banerjee has also emphasized that we have to think about the real issues and local specific solutions by utilizing these technologies for various sectors. So I thought that I will be talking specifically about the groundwater, and there is a need of the concept think globally, act locally. So we have to have the cooperation from global, national, and regional communities. And one of of the very, very important aspects which SAIARD is doing is the creating the awareness and capacity building, which is very, very important. So with this, I would like to conclude my talk. This is an image from Kurukshetra. You can see the famous Brahm Sarovar pond. You are seeing this pond, it is quite famous. Kurukshetra, as you all know, that is famous for Mahabharata, but we don't remember it for Mahabharata. We say that it is the land of Gita, right? So you can see the different ponds which are present over there, lush green vegetation, very good agriculture. And we are seeing a lot of brunt of the urbanization, which is, a lot of agricultural land is being cleared, right? So just want to give you a glimpse of it. And with this, I would like to thank you all, that coming together is a beginning, keeping together is a progress, and working together is a success. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening to me. And I would like to finish my talk with the quote on sustainability by Abraham Lincoln, that you cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by avoiding it today. Thank you very much, my dear friends.
Thank you, sir. Thanks you for your valuable comments. And obviously, you have talked about water resource. It is one of the most indispensable part of our livelihood. And without water, there is no life. And we need to conserve it. It is high time that we should conserve it in a very sustainable manner, or else the days are not far when we will strive for a just piece of land and as well as just a drop of water. So on this note, I would like to thank you and would also like to welcome our second guest for the technical session, Sri D.P. Mathuria sir, Executive Director, Technical, NMCG, Ministry of Jal Shakti.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I think I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you're audible. May I please give your brief introduction?
Yeah. I'm. In fact, you have introduced me by my name. I'm D.P. Mathuria, and I'm Executive Director at National Mission for Clean Ganga under Union Ministry of Jal Shakti, and this mission in particular is looking after the task of rejuvenation of the Ganga in accordance with one of the subordinate legislation that was brought by the government of India in 2014 in form of authorities notification of 2016. So we are implementing a Namami Gange program which aims to recreate the wholesomeness of River Ganga and its tributary. And we have a synergy, we have a lot of synergy with geoinformatics and geospatial tools in our working. And in fact, we are working very, very closely with Survey of India in many of the fields. So I like the permission to share the screen. I've got a small presentation, and with that presentation, we'll go briefly with some things we are doing under Namami Gange as well as my own views.
Sure, sir.
Yeah. I think my presentation is visible.
Yes, sir. Your presentation.
Yeah. I'll start from where Professor Chaudhary has left. He has touched upon some very, very important point when it comes to water as a resource, as well as when it comes to rivers as such. Well, he has in fact highlighted many of grave problems that we are facing in field of water resources, and he has also presented a case study on how to deal with these problems in specific by selecting a small watershed in the Ghaggar basin. And I'll also touch upon few of those issues. In fact, few of the things that have been done under Ministry of Jal Shakti in the field of geospatial technology, particularly in water resources sector. Well, see, geospatial technology has the spectrum of geospatial technologies has a wide integration with the water as a subject and various aspects of water. It is well known that water cuts across almost every aspect of the human life. Be it drinking water, be it water for sanitation, for energy, from the perspective of climate impact, from ecosystem services. In fact, rivers and water bodies are offer a very large scale ecosystem services from the health aspect, agriculture, disasters, biodiversity, and geospatial technique as well as tools have application in almost every one of these techniques. Uh, uh, Having said that, the need for having a holistic and a comprehensive GIS-based water resources information system was long felt in the Ministry of Jal Shakti, primarily in the water resources sector, and together with National Remote Sensing Center of Government of India, a web-based portal was developed for disseminating water resources related information through a compact and decentralized platform. And the purpose was to have a sustainable water resources management through pragmatic policies and monitoring of the various programs which are being carried out. This water resources information system, in short, we call it WRIS, W-R-I-S, India-WRIS. It is a GIS-based platform. It has got more than 100 geospatial layers, and it houses a very compact and a broad national database. And in fact, almost entire information is in public domain. And of late, the efforts are to disseminate the information in whatever form it is available in real-time domain to the public in general, as well as also for various academic and research activities. So it's a very strong tool being modernized under National Hydrology project. Again, now, as I've said, this WRIS, India-WRIS, what exactly it aims to deliver. In fact, as I've said, it is a repository of not only historical data as related to water resources. In fact, it has got historical data of our groundwater, for the rivers and for as a source of surface water, and reservoirs, in fact, big reservoirs as well as small reservoirs, information in respect of all the big and small irrigation and multi-purpose water resources projects, which are in fact in form of structures like dams, barrages, weirs, aqueducts, and so on and so forth. And even some of the unclassified data is available in the public domain for downloading. There is water resources information management services, which handles the database management features for this platform. So this is a very robust platform. It is continuously being upgraded, and the objective is to house every sort of the data, be it quantified quantity of the resources or the quality of the resources under one platform in the public domain. As I said, the objectives are to have an online data source for not only for surface water, and I like this fora to be informed that it houses data in respect of about 552 surface water quality stations in respect of their surface water quality. For different kind of stations, there are some of the parameters in respect of which the data is being housed. Then again, it also houses surface water quality data station wise, parameter wise, and a dashboard kind of a coding mechanism is also being developed. Again, the same thing, the classification of sites based on the parameters, etc., is available there. And the aim is to display the in real time domain the quality issues of the water pan India. And then coming specifically to one of a very important program, a very ambitious program, which the Ministry of Jal Shakti has undertaken, is the Namami Gange program, and it has aptly integrated geospatial technologies a large number of sewerage infrastructure projects, riverfront development projects, as well as industrial effluent treatment projects have been taken up. Entire information data sets is being integrated on a GIS layer to create a GIS enabled platform for information dissemination in the public domain. At National Mission for Clean Ganga, our vision so far as GIS mapping is concerned is to obviously to guide the government investment in proper planning, execution, as well as monitoring of the projects, and largely we have been successful in this. We have focused in identification of the hotspots as well as the priority areas. The Ganga Basin. Ganga Basin happens to be a very big basin, about 1 million square kilometer of the area this basin covers. So identification of the critical hotspots and priority areas, and then tools for assisting in preparation of detailed project report, as well as appraisal of these investment decisions, and then monitoring framework also using these tools. And then this platform, the central platform will, as I've said, will be repository of all data, in fact, related to Ganga. We are creating a very high resolution digital elevation model together with the help of Survey of India. Similarly, coalescing the rainfall data, LULS, land use land pattern data, data related to soil, and so on and so forth. So these kind of data sets are being integrated and on the GIS platform with long-term vision of NMCG to better handle the and also to create a baseline for the Ganga Basin. As I've said, this base platform will help us in efficient decision making. Obviously, it will be a robust data. It will provide a robust data center services, and we are aiming to upgrade Ganga Bhavan portal, which has been developed by NRSA, and then development of a dynamic GIS driven desktop based spatial decision support system is also being undertaken at National Mission for Clean Ganga. Then obviously, virtually it is a big data that is being collected, and aim is to support research and innovation in particularly in this sector for pragmatic river basin management paradigms. As I've said, mapping with the sewerage infrastructure and pollution sources, whether they are point pollution sources or distributed pollution sources, identification of the critical hotspots, as well as then ultimate aim is to dissemination of the right kind of the knowledge through Ganga Basin Atlas or Ganga knowledge platforms. As I said, Ganga water quality monitoring happens to be a very important component, and the efforts are on to map this quality on GIS platforms. A vast network of the station exists in the Ganga Basin, and this data, this water quality data, is being put and is also in form of dashboards for dissemination in the public domain. This is a graphical representation of the water quality picture on the mainstream, the Ganga, which again obviously is being used through GIS kind of the layers. And then we have undertaken some R&D initiatives in Namami Gange in NMCG. As I said, we are mapping about 45,000 square kilometer of area in Ganga Basin with the help of Survey of India using LiDAR mapping. And it is a very high resolution DM of accuracy better than 20 centimeters. And this GIS ready database is going to change the way in which we are looking at the basin at present. It will create not only a baseline for all future times to come, but also will enrich our knowledge about the basin, about the problems in the basin, the areas where buffer zones are to be created, and so on and so forth. And then this DM will also be used for disaster planning, flood inundation, mapping of the basin. And apart from our own efforts under NMCG, similar kind of efforts are also underway under National Hydrology Project of the Ministry of Jal Shakti. Then we almost have, in fact, a rich database of pollution hotspots in the Ganga basin, and that kind of information is available for almost everyone for the R&D purposes, for research purposes in GS kind of the data sets. And then one very interesting study which we have undertaken, it will interest almost I think everyone. We are also trying to map again on GIS platform the microbial diversity which is found in the Ganga basin and which offers a very important kind of an ecosystem services. And this study we are undertaking through, we are taking it through the National Environmental Engineering Research Institute of SAIARD. And this once this microbial mapping of the diversity is done through, it will enrich our knowledge both in academic terms as well as in practical terms as to how to use this microbial diversity not only for nutrient recycling but also for core hydrological core sewage management kind of issues. Very interesting. It is often said, and it is true also, that almost all our glacial fed rivers are fed apart from the glacier melt, but also apart from the glacier melt, it is fed by the large number of the springs which originates in higher altitudes. And one of the reason for change, a definite trend which is being seen in quantity of the water available in these rivers is drying up of these springs due to various kind of anthropogenic activities. So accordingly, we have taken an ambitious project with Survey of India to map these springs, their catchment area. And again, on we are using lidar based drone on UAV. So this kind of point cloud data, once acquired, will be used for planning of these spring catchments, so as to plan mitigation as well as adaptive measures, so that our spring areas, our spring watershed remains recharged and springs remains perennial with the flows. Another area in which we are working, again using these geoinformatics tools for data acquisition, is and under overall dream of Ganga River Basin Management Plan, is to understand the interplay between groundwater and the surface water. And for that, we have tied up with Central Groundwater Board and National Geophysical Research Institute for aquifer mapping in the areas in Gangetic alluvial plain where these historic paleo channels exist. So once these paleo channels are mapped, identified, they'll be used to store water during high stages of the river, high floods, so that this amount of the water can be used during the lean season when the flows in the river they come down. So it is a very interesting study, and we are using in a very big way GIS tools for data acquisition as well as creating a database. And one very important area, in fact, this was also highlighted by Professor Chaudhary in his talk, is about the small rivers. Until unless our small rivers remains rejuvenated and they remains sustainable, recharged, the main stream of the main channels of the river won't be rejuvenated. So a big focus is on these small river rejuvenation. We have created a database of these rivers, again using the GIS tools, And during this year itself, under Manrega component of Government of India, we have tied up with number of number of ministries in central government as well as state government under Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign. And efforts were undertaken to rejuvenate these small rivers. So it was taken up this year itself, and it is going to, change the way in which we are looking at the basin as well as the rivers. And one very interesting study which I thought I must present it in this fora was about reconstructing the past of the Ganga using coronal archives. In fact, there are about 8,000 plus images of the Ganga basin which were taken by the spy satellites of the US somewhere in 1960s, and we are using these images to recreate the Ganga of 60s and to understand what are the ecological, topographic, and geomorphic changes which the rivers have undergone over all those years. And this study is almost through and will be coming out with the atlas, and a very interesting, data sets have been created which offer altogether a different subject area for the researchers as well as students to study and research upon. So these were some of the initiatives we have taken, both R&D initiatives as well as regular activities under Namami Gange program, specifically using robust geospatial tools to study the river basin, study the water availability, study the status of the water quality, and others. So at this stage, I'll stop and thank everyone for listening to me with a lot of patience. And I'll love to take any questions if they are there. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable comments and also the initiatives that have been taken by the ministry for the rejuvenation of our lifeline. And as we all know, it is also needed for a sustainable rejuvenation. I would like to call all the participants. If anyone is having any question, you can type it up or you can just ask, sir.
Before that, I would like to say something with your permission, Devajyoti.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
First of all, I would like to give a special thanks to Mathuria sir for joining with us, because I know that sir is quite busy, because since the formation, even before the formation of SAIARD, I was associated with your department, sir, NMCG, because Piyush is very good friend of mine. Even DG sir, I respect him very much, and he also blessed with me in this place. So, sir, you have done a wonderful activities throughout the India through your department, and I would like to know one thing, sir. Is there, suppose in the river basin of Ganga river basin, so is there any work has done still now that all the river basin areas, tributary areas, to create a dam map like that? That as that in planning, monitoring.
Well, see, there was actually earlier recreating a dam for the Ganga basin for about, if I'm not wrong, about 2 lakh square kilometer area was thought of during about 6 or 8 years back by the Government of India. But it got somehow it couldn't be taken up. It couldn't took off. And then we thought that under Ganga, this Namami Gange program, because our own understanding as well as our own authority notification says that we must have a baseline of the river at least for a very discretized interval, 1 kilometer or 2 kilometer or 5 kilometer each, and it should be high resolution. And then we thought there are subjects, there are areas, there are expert domains where this kind of information can be utilized. Flood is one. Disasters happen to be very important. Flood is one. Soil erosion, bank erosion is another. Then inventorizing all the sewerage infrastructure is another. Recreating the urban centers, drains, picture of the drains, status of drains is another. So then we went ahead with this program of creating a dam with Survey of India. And then another dam is being prepared again for the Ganga basin and its tributaries under National Hydrology Project. So these two activities are going concurrently. Third, when it comes to other in Ganga Basin, a coarse digital elevation models are available for Kosi Basin. DEM is also available for Ghagra Basin. They have been prepared by NRSC under special initiatives, the state government. And other than that, I'm not very sure if DEMs are available. As on date, this is the status. When I say digital elevation models, I am referring to those models, those digital elevation models which have been prepared using LiDAR, because otherwise using satellite information, and other kind of those kind of inputs. There are few DEMs few DM which were prepared also for northern Bihar, Adwara group of tributaries, which ultimately join Gangas. So we as a nation are not very, we don't have a very dense information when it comes to having digital elevation models. So we have started this exercise.
Okay, so as you know that since the formation we have taken a part, that is particularly the geoinformatics sector in for the development in different aspects in eastern region and northeast part also. And mostly we are working for the, first of all, we are working stage by stage through the skill development sector in collaboration with the NATMO. We have started geoinformatics course, even in collaboration with the Vidyasagar University here. We have started the PG diploma course in geoinformatics, and we have developed our syllabus according to the professional model. And you will be happy to hear that already we have gave the employment opportunities for 5 students since the last batches, from our last batches. So we are also going to introduce AI, ML, Python, and also the photogrammetric sector is already going to develop within a few weeks. So is there any opportunity for these kind of institutions like SAIARD in collaboration to work with the NMCG? And
Yeah,
if it is
definitely.
possible, how?
Definitely, if you've got any proposal in your mind, you can submit the proposal. We'll get to the proposal, get into the details of the proposal, and we'll align the proposal so as to align it with the objectives of Namami Gange program. And if needed, and if you are willing to seek, we are open to provide financial support also, so long as the proposal is interesting and meets the objectives of the program at large. So you can submit any of the proposal if it is in your mind, and we'll definitely take such proposals to its logical conclusion. There's no issue on that.
Okay, sir. Thank you. And now
Thank
I
you.
would like to hand over the microphone to other participants. If they have any queries, please ask Mukuriya sir. If anybody has any query. Otherwise, we will go for our next speaker.
Thank you.
So, Devajyoti.
Yeah. I think no queries still now. Okay. Thank you, Mathu sir. And we will move to our next speaker for the technical session. And we have got a person from international margin, Mr. Abhinav Walia. He is now in the School of Architect and Built Environment, University of Newcastle, Australia. Mr. Walia is now associated with the university as a HDR researcher and a sessional academic staff member. Previously, he served at the Center of Disaster Management, Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration, Mussoorie, for a long time on the same issues. Abhinav sir did his master's in risk and emergency management from UME Graduate School, University of Pavia, Italy, with a full scholarship, and done PG diploma in GIS and remote sensing from CDAC, Noida. He has been awarded several scholarships and awards in the area of disaster risk management, implication of GIS and climate change, and done various projects with various vertical uplifted sectors. Mr. Walia, welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Malik. I'm audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Malik, Dr. B. Roy Chaudhary, all the dignitaries, friends. This is really my honor to be part of this webinar, and I will try to share my experiences. So even though my presentation has a wider scope, I'll not go to the minute details, but I will try to give the idea to the students so that they can, look for the dimensions of geoinformatics in disaster management domain, and they can connect that what are the future opportunities and what are the gaps existing in the sector. So I will try to cover all those aspects in a broader way, so kindly forgive me for that because it's really a vague presentation. So shall I share the screen now to start? Okay, yeah, just a minute. Um, is it visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible. You can proceed. Thank you.
Okay. So the title, thank you. The title is Disasters, Geoinformatics and International Experiences. So I will try to, share my experiences, my learning and my understanding on the subject. So you all know what is disaster. So I just put this slide, and then there are hazards. So often, people are misunderstand the disasters and the hazards. So especially for the students, I put this slide because if there is an earthquake event in the desert, so it's not a disaster, it's a hazard event. So basically, this slide is to give that understanding only. So in disasters, one of the important aspects which personally I felt that to consider is the angle of disasters, because normally if any disaster event happen, so we look for from the government point of view, uh, whether the disasters has major losses or not. But this is also important to understand that the losses from an individual point of view, because if we look any event, even a small event from a household level. So if somebody is hospitalized, that is also a disaster. So that is one of the gap area which I always, try to focus, because it's not only then that we go for the definition of the disaster. Okay, that is for the compensation purpose or to give relief, but at the individual level, we should consider the angle of disaster. That is very important. And as you can see that the disasters are increasing, whether it's hydrological or climatological, meteorological, geophysical, this is also a common fact that these are increasing. And geoinformatics technology has a greater management of disasters. So in especially in the all phases of disaster management, so that need to be understand how geoinformatics play a role in each phase of disaster management. So that is very important that we will cover in the next slide. So this is just to give you an overview. And each disaster hit beyond the political boundaries. So, we have political boundaries, but disaster don't have the political boundaries. So we need to understand this, and we have to work in the collaborative manners. So if a cyclone develop in the Bay of Bengal, that will also hit India and Bangladesh. And if any floods come in Nepal, so that can, hit India, and then same water can devastate the Bangladesh. So the collaboration is very much important, and we need to look for the opportunities how geoinformatics can play a role in international collaborations for disaster risk management. So this is one of the area where students can focus and think in this direction. What are the issues and how we can address these issues? And each disaster is unique in nature, so that also need to be considered. This is just a pictorial representation of the maps. If you see, these are the earthquake map of the globe. So how, they don't have any political boundaries, and they create disasters across the nations. So international collaboration is very much important in disaster management. And below is the flood risk map, and then the cyclone risk map. Why climate change and disasters are important to us? So this is also visible through this image that we have a big concentration of construction in our region. So that is quite obvious that when there is a dense construction, means dense population is there, infrastructure is there. And yesterday I was actually looking into this, and my small daughter of 7 years, she came and she said, this is the dense construction. Is it also cover the construction which is under process? So yes, I said yes, this is important point, that there are lot of constructions already planned, so that's also important to cover that focus that the future infrastructure is disaster resilient or not. So that is one of the important aspect which we need to focus. And this is the world risk map. So if we see, we are also in the pink zone. So that is another factor that why we need disaster risk management and climate change adaptation. And this is the light map. You can see this also represents the dense population, the dense infrastructure in our country. So that also an important issue to cover in disaster risk management. And this gives a clear indication that we need to focus on the disaster risk management. And another map, this represents the climate risk across the globe. So we can see we have our three major cities are at high climate risk. If Delhi was on coast, then I am sure that Delhi would also be in this list. But these three cities are also at high climate risk. So we need to have a very serious and focused approach for climate risk management. And evidences suggest that the impact of disasters will continue to increase because of unplanned growth and climate change. Quite obvious. And why we need climate smart DRM planning? Because our disasters are now more frequent, more intense, and more unpredicted. So now we see the events which are beyond the imaginations, like cyclone Sandy in USA, then cyclone Haiyan in Philippines. Those have broken the records. And also the urban flooding. If you see now, we have very intense urban flooding every year. This year in Jaipur, and then we have recurrent floods in Mumbai and many other parts of the country. So this give a window of opportunity to think that how geoinformatics can play a role in disaster risk management. So that is important issue to cover with the for the students, so they can think in this direction. So this is another pictorial to represent the risk in a sort of funny manner, to make it very much clear and in an easy way for the common public. Like the helmet for this rat is the capacity that we need to develop, and risk is the function of hazard multiplied by vulnerability divided by capacity. So in capacity building, geoinformatics has a very important and significant. So that we need to understand, and already our government and other organizations are significant work in this direction. So that need to be enhanced and taken to the next level. And we have good examples like INCOIS and ISRO Bhuvan, and also the Namami Gange project and the Delhi State Spatial Data Infrastructure projects. That those are really some very significant work done in this direction. And these are the examples of some international frameworks and national and international frameworks in disaster risk reduction. So presently we are in between the Sendai framework for disaster risk reduction, which is from 2015 to 30. So Sendai also highlighted the need of disaster risk management and the use of technology. So that also one framework which students and the researchers can focus and go through, that how they can connect the geoinformatics technology for the all the priority areas of the Sendai. So that will be a very interesting case. And there is another one, that is understanding disaster risk management framework. That is a systematic process of using administrative directives in organizations and operational skills and capacities. So this is basically developed by the World Bank, and it has 5 pillars. So first pillar is like risk identification, risk reduction, preparedness. The fourth is financial protection and resilient reconstruction. So each of the pillar has a role of geoinformatics, and this is very similar to the disaster management plan template of our NDMA, National Disaster Management Authority. So because overall aim is to minimize the losses on any cost. So any loss, human loss, infrastructure loss, environmental loss. So these pillars are very much easy to understand and plan and to represent our activities. So all pillar has a role. I mean, geoinformatics has a role in each pillar. So if you see that the pillar number one, risk reduction. So there are examples of geoinformatics where the mapping and the vulnerability assessments has been done for each kind of disaster risk reduction activities. So global risk data platform is there, then hazard vulnerability risk analysis. And there are some non-geoinformatics tools as well, like seasonality index, that is very easy to understand the risk of any particular area. And then British Columbia risk matrix. So all these are the examples of risk identification. Like risk models are also the examples of geoinformatics tools in disaster management. The beauty of these tools that you can know that depth of the floods and the flow of the water and all the related information about the floods can be understood by the risk through the risk model. So these are not available only for the floods, but these models are also available for the cyclones and for the other kinds of hazards. So these are the advancements in the geoinformatics. But of course, as you know, the dimensions of the disasters has been changed. So these can be also taken to the next level with more probabilistic scenarios adding into these models. So that is another dimension where students can think to conduct their research. This is the example of international collaboration I was talking about because disasters don't have political boundaries. So this is the SARC Digital Vulnerability Atlas, which was available online. I'm sure this is also available now. So this is for the SARC countries, and all the hazard data and all the related information knowledge is available free of cost. And that is one of the really very useful platform where geoinformatics played a significant role in disaster risk management. This is another example of tsunami formation and destruction because as you know, if any mega tsunami or any major disaster happen, it is very difficult to do rapid visual screening, rapid assessment of the damages. So this is the example on the top picture. We can see there is an island which is not impacted by the tsunami, but in the next picture, the island is totally devastated by the tsunami. So this view is only possible through the geoinformatics tools, through the space applications. So sitting at any part of the world now, we can assess the risk and we can do the planning for the relief, rehabilitation, and reconstruction, and in fact all the phases of disaster management. So there is also international space charter where number of space agencies came together, and during the time of any disaster situation, everyone has a policy to provide free satellite images for the disaster affected area. So that is itself one of the significant work in this dimension. Another important example of geoinformatics is would like to show you that this is a forest watch tool through which this is the stubble burning, which is a common issue in Punjab and Haryana after Diwali. So these all are the forest. These all are the stubble burning sites which have been detected through the satellite. So this is one of the advancement which nobody thought of, that the technology will put that we will be able to see the fire at each farm level from any part of the world. So this is the strength of GIS tools. Then another pictorial I would like to tell is the next slide is this is the International Space Station. So space station fly 400 kilometers from the Earth at the speed of 27,000 kilometers per hour. And am I audible? There is some disturbance, I think. So this is International Space Station. So through space we can see regularly monitor the Earth. So this is the example of some cyclone in some part of the world. So I have taken it from the internet that how space station can monitor the cyclones and other phenomena related to disasters through 400 kilometers from the Earth, and this is very useful data for disaster risk management. This is the example of British Columbia risk matrix, what I was telling about. This is online available. So anyone can do a plan for any area, any district, any city. So this is very useful. There is a questionnaire which needs to be filled. Then it will come out as a matrix like this. This is the Delhi example from the Delhi State Special Data Infrastructure Project, like Lieutenant General mentioned about the project. So for short time, I worked for this project. And the beauty of this project was that it can scan all the underground utilities. So like electricity, gas, sewerage, water, all the utilities have been scanned for the entire Delhi. And this is really a very important disaster management. And this is one of the examples. Excuse me, there is some disturbance. I think somebody has to close the mic.
I request every participants kindly mute yourself. Kindly mute yourself. I request the audience kindly mute yourself. Excuse me, everyone. Stand, sir.
Continue. Yeah.
Sir.
So the next is the risk reduction component of world of the disaster risk management framework. So land use planning, policies plans, capacity building, DRR, all these are the activities where we can use geoinformatics, but these need to be, understand in detail. Already things are going on in these dimensions. But always there is a scope for go to the next level because our vulnerability are also increasing. So risk reduction techniques should also be enhanced. And then the capacity buildings are there, training programs, mock drills, disaster management in curriculum, public awareness. So all these activities are already going on, but there is a scope to incorporate geoinformatics in these activities so that we can do the planning in a more better way. Then preparedness, early warning systems. We already have very good early warning systems like Inquires, IMD, all. They are doing wonderful work. And now tsunami, SMS for tsunami is also available. Then windy.com is one of the website I was going through. It has really vast variety of data. And SMS for tsunami is also very good, not only for the people who are living at the coast, but as a tourist also, general public go to the coastal sites. So it is very important because in tsunami, if we know the how to save ourselves, we can save, because tsunami is something we have a very we get early warning, but we need to plan if in case of tsunami what to do and where to go. So those are the aspects of tsunami which need to understand. It's deadly, but we can save ourselves from tsunami with better planning. So this is the map of this is numerical weather prediction map of IMD. So I was talking about the collaboration. So India already doing wonderful work in its dimension. So this circle I have made because along with India, IMD covers Bangladesh as well. So Bangladesh people can also, take the advantage of this data. So this is already Bangladesh, Nepal, all the, nearby countries, even Sri Lanka, all are automatically covered. So this is another use of space-based applications in disaster management. Another very good initiative is the Indian Disaster Resource Network. This is itself an innovation because all the data related to disasters, all equipments are registered in this portal. So if some district have some disaster, issue, so they can pool the resources from the nearby districts, and that is online available, all the list of the resources, so that can be pooled. This is the example of a decision support system developed through the Google Earth, which is free of cost software available. So this is developed by the Mumbai Mahanagar Palika, and this is really very good kind of initiative because it has developed free of cost, and the maps are very detailed. If we zoom in, so there are maps with at each ward level. So I would like to demonstrate this because number of tools are freely available and lot of work has been already done, but sometimes we are not aware of that work. So like Google Earth provides the opportunity to develop such type of map, because at local level sometimes there is no capacity to purchase GIS softwares. So there are a number of things which are already developed, which government already doing number of projects. So those can be utilized in a proper manner, so that of disasters can be managed in those areas as well. Then financial protection is one of the part. Then resilient reconstruction. So all the phases have significant role in geoinformatics, and some international examples are. I was talking about Typhoon Haiyan. So the speed of the typhoon was 300 kilometer per hour, so which was too high. And in the scenario of climate change, the dimensions of disasters are changing. 1.1 billion houses damaged because of this cyclone. And this is the earthquake in Italy. I was studying there that time. So the fear of earthquake was really very bad, that people for a month or 2 months was unable to sleep in their houses. Luckily, they have very big houses there in that region, and they have a garden outside. So they have made tent houses in their gardens. Daytime they used to go inside the house, but during night they used to sleep in the tent houses. So this is just I'm sharing this experience of earthquake, that how deadly earthquakes are. This is the Japan tsunami. You already know this was the disaster, earthquake, tsunami, then nuclear meltdown, and 15,881 deaths were there recorded, and then big numbers was injured and missing. So why Japan done better? Because they have tsunami retaining walls, good use of geoinformatics technology, reinsurance assets, well-prepared community, good quality automatic early warning systems. And also, this is the photo of a typhoon in Japan. So if we see, even that after the typhoon, it looked like subway looked like a swimming pool. So that is also one of the important point to consider, that we should keep our cities clean, so that if any flooding or any such situation happens, so we will able to walk actually. Otherwise, most of the time it has been observed that during the floods, it is very difficult for the people to walk and to move around. Another example is from the Marshall Island. This is the small island in the Pacific. So in fact, this is at such a location which is very, very risky. In fact, it's a atoll, it's even not an island. And with the picture, you can see the vulnerability of these people. So clearly we have a important role of geoinformatics in the management of disasters of this place, or similar place like this, because we can map, we can plan what to do in case of any disaster. So this is I'm sharing this open kind of presentation for the students, so that they can use their mind, they can think of the ideas what they can do through the geoinformatics tools for this. Of course, there is a role of geoinformatics in each and every phase of disaster management that we have to understand in detail. This is one example from the Holland. In 1953, there was high sea induced floods, but the issue was taken so seriously. Then after that, there was no as such floods happen, and they have constructed these automatic barriers. So in case of any high sea, now these barriers automatically close, and Holland is really highly protected with the floods. Even it's about 60% of the Holland is below the sea level. So these are the locations I would like to share, that where the water came during the 1953 floods, but now all the places are highly protected. This is another type of disasters are coming nowadays. Now COVID we are going through, that is itself a mega disaster which we never thought of this generation. Then another, I was surprised when I know about this disaster. This is thunderstorm asthma. So this happened in Melbourne in 2016, and there are grass which has pollen grains, and this absorb moisture. So along with the thunderstorm, these pollen grains become grinded and become very tiny particles, and they go on into the lungs of the human, and around 8,000 cases were 8,500 people were hospitalized because of this thunderstorm asthma. So this is one, new kind of disasters are keep coming. So this is really very unique case that this can also happen. So this was one of the example from Australia. This is the use of geoinformatics, like think hazard tool. So this is also developed by World Bank. So you need to enter the city and it gives a lot of information about any part of the world. Similar tool we have called Bhuvan, an emergency database also there, which is developed by the government of India. That is also very good advancement in the technology used. And this is another example from the Pacific Disaster Center in Hawaii. They also have a mobile app which is very detailed information provide, and which gives very detailed information, and it's really very useful for all types of hazards and disasters. Sorry. Another example of disaster risk management is about the alcohol interlocking device from Australia, because the drink and drive is one of the issue globally. So this device is itself a very good kind of initiative by the transport department. If you caught by drinking and driving issue, then they put this interlocking device in your car, and this is for 2 years minimum. So whenever you start your car, you have to give this alcohol test, and in between also when you are driving, because some people might drink in between when they're already started the car, but randomly at any time it beep the siren and you have to give the test. So there is no choice that you drink in between while driving. So this is one of the very good initiative to avoid disaster. And this is one of the example from State Emergency Service. Here you put PIN code of your area, so you will get all the risk information, all the emergency information, all the contacts, all the plans guidelines. Just you have to put the PIN code, so that if you are trying to purchase a land or house, or you are going to rent a house in that particular location, so you will get all the information in one click. So similar products are available here as well now. Another good practice I got to know about the SES State Emergency Service. So there, the culture of volunteerism is very good. Like every week on Wednesday or Thursday, they give 3 hours. But the system is so good that everyone has a very good uniforms and trainings, certifications. So they taken the volunteerism very professionally, which is really a good model. But there are some issues as well, like being a volunteer. If I am stuck in a disaster situation, I'm not bound to, go to help. But contemporary in like in India, I see that NDRF is a very good model, because the people who are working for disaster response issues are bound to do their duties. So there is no choice to say no. So both the models can be studied by the students. So these are both have plus positives and negatives. This is another example from Australia bushfire. So from any part of the world nowadays, there is a opportunity to visualize any area which is affected by the disasters. So last year there was severe fires in Australia. So one of my guests was here from Australia that time, and their house was at risk of fire. So they were able to see from here that what is the situation there. So geoinformatics technology really has a very important role in disaster management. And this is the example from Bangladesh. They have very severe problem of road accidents. Then cyclone Cider. This is another example from Bangladesh. And this is from New Zealand. So no matter the country is developed or developing, so disasters hit beyond the political boundaries and beyond. They don't think that country is developed or underdeveloped. So New Zealand was also highly devastated by this earthquake of Christchurch. So here also, geoinformatics can play a significant role in overall planning. So now earthquake early warning systems need to be developed. So in that directions also students can think and what are the advancements in earthquake risk management and use of geoinformatics in earthquakes. And this is the Haiti where in 2010, it's unbelievable that around 3 lakh people died by one earthquake event. So that was really horrible and really sad that earthquakes can have this much of impact. Then these are some pictures from Geneva, then Brazil flooding. So 3 important things to do are the prepare to tackle unpredicted, including technical intervention. So that I said, geoinformatics is one of the major technical intervention which can be taken. And the planning is really, something which can be done in a highly systematic manners, highly effective manners through geoinformatics tools, because geoinformatics gives us the liberty to store n number of data and we can represent that, model that, analyze that. So a number of advancements are there in geoinformatics. So interlinking both the domains will really provide an opportunity to save more and more people and to minimize the disaster-induced losses. Then another is manage poverty, and then adaptation to the climate change is really important. And if you always do what you always did, you will always get what you always got. So this Einstein said, so I always believe in this. So we need to, keep this always in mind. And thank you very much. And let's prepare for the worst. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Walia, for your valuable comments and your good presentation, I must say, because you have provided a global presentation in spite of boundaries and their economic structure. When it comes to disaster, it is all the same, and we perish in time of disaster. It is now the call of the need as well as the call of the hour that we should provide hands-on experiences for a better tomorrows. And as you ended in your presentation, as we sow, so we reap. It's just like the same, and hoping for the best tomorrow and coping with the COVID situation and being ourselves unmasked, we will definitely be in a better world in the coming days. Thank you for your valuable comments. And if there is anyone who is willing to ask any query or any question, you may please be free to ask. Anyone from the participants? Okay, I guess your presentation have put a huge impact and in a very lucid manner. Thank you, sir. So
thank you so much.
Now we'll definitely move on to our next keynote speaker. Dr. Samir Saran is the head of the geoinformatics of IIRS, Dehradun. Sir, you there?
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I will take the opportunity to introduce you to our panelists as well as the guests. Dr. Saran, he has pursued MSc in Physics and PhD in Geoinformatics from Wageningen University, Netherlands, on the role of microwave remote sensing for water erosion modeling in Himalayan watershed. His field of expertise is in WebGIS and geodatabase, geodata modeling and processing, spatial data mining and spatial decision modeling, open source GIS, 3D GIS. Of the innumerous awards, the notable ones of Dr. Saran are the Indian National Geospatial Award of 2011, the ISRO ASI Team Award 2009 for the Bhuvan Web Application Development, the ISRO Team Excellence Award 2009 for the development and realization of Bhuvan India EO visualization, Making Difference by Jack Dagamont, CEO ISRI USA for web-enabled bio-prospecting and molecular taxonomy program. He is the life member of eminent professional bodies like the Indian Society of Remote Sensing, Indian Society of Geomatics, Indian Meteorological Society, and Astronautical Society of India. May I please welcome Dr. Saran for his valuable keynote lecture on our forum. Sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Malik, for giving the opportunity. Let me share my presentation. Okay. Is it?
Yes, sir. It's available. It's available.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
So the time allocated to me is around 20-25 minutes. Okay. Thank you so much.
You can proceed further, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You.
Today, actually, I'll be talking about the recent trends in geoinformatics. Although I think geospatial technology, if you see, this is the only technology which is going exponentially with leaps and bounds. And there are so many applications which have been derived from the geospatial domain. So I thought that I will be covering a few areas on geoinformatics where I've been working, and in fact there are few areas where many agencies, whether you talk about industry, whether you talk about government, they are really using these geospatial technology for many applications. So I thought that I'll touch upon few areas which might be interesting to the audience. Why? Because the Indian government, as you know, that they are using this technology for various applications, right? From governance to natural resource management to disaster, and even there are so many others. So basically, here I thought that I will touch upon the areas like 3D city modeling, where like smart city program, Amrut, there are so many programs where we are trying to use the geospatial technology. So I'll be sharing a few cases. Hello. Yeah. And then,
hello. Hello, sir.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then there are few technological developments with respect to the use of new dimensions with respect to data usage. So data cubes and all those things I'll be talking about. And then very interesting work on Indian Bioresource Information Network. I thought that I'll share with you. Then few governance applications on Swachh Bharat, how geospatial technology can be used, and followed by a few examples of big data and geohealth. Well, if you see geospatial technology as a whole, it has got various dimensions to it. To name a few, is one of the most primary component of geospatial technology is Earth observation, where we talk about satellite data. We have a series of satellites with respect to different spatial resolution, with respect to different spectral resolutions, radiometric resolutions, temporal resolutions, and there is a variety of data and variety of satellites which are providing one of the vital inputs with respect to Earth observation. There are with the emergence of new platforms like UAV or aerial platforms, the observations we are getting different observations apart from the satellite data. You talk about scanning is also an area where geospatial inputs we get. Like for instance, LiDAR data is one of them. Radar data is there, laser scanning, all these data sets provide important information which can be used for different applications. The third one is the GNSS and positioning. I think everybody, they might be aware You might be aware that GPS data as well as our Indian navigation data is available, and people are making use of these GPS-enabled smart phones in order to take care of the location as well as the navigation. So there are many applications which are being derived through GNSS as well as GPS. The last one which I might focus or I should focus is on GIS, because this is the area where you can see this technology going up to the grassroots level, because it provides solutions towards governance. It provides solutions towards different applications like crime GIS, road GIS, health GIS, tourism GIS. So many applications are now available where you can make use of this GIS. The important part of GIS is it can integrate the data which has got any geospatial coordinates. When I say geospatial coordinate, means the where dimension of an area of a particular object. Where means the latitude and longitude. If you have these data sets available, you can integrate in this particular platform and generate some solutions which might be useful. So coming to the overall development which has taken place in a recent past is like, for instance, I was talking about the Earth observation data. Earlier, people were more confined. In fact, whenever they want to use the satellite data, they used to indent the data. They approach the space agency, and then the data is ordered, and it takes a lot of time to really reach the data to their place, and then they apply pre-processing algorithms, and then ultimately provide develop the case studies or develop the research or project. But nowadays, now the time is changing. You are not directly dependent on the satellite data. Rather, now the space agencies are creating the data cubes, which will be available. Like one of the example, I think, is Google Earth Engine, which provides the platform where you can directly access the data without doing any the data availability will be on your desk. So the evolution is taking place with respect to the satellite data requirement. There are few developments which has taken place in various areas like databases, modeling, data dissemination, interoperability, and big data. So I will not go into the technical details of it, but the point which I'm trying to say is that the geoinformatics as a whole has taken there is a convergence towards the information technology, and because of the convergence of information technology, there is development, and the data requirement as well as the data dissemination is becoming much more faster. So let me give you an example of an area like 3D city models, which are now being used. They are not confined to only architectural applications, but rather they can be used for smart city applications. Like this is one of the house I would like to show here. If you put them into a 3D city model, you can do analysis on noise propagation. You can do analysis on indoor navigation. You can do analysis that how much solar potential I can derive from a given data or from a given city model. Even the utility infrastructure, shadow estimation, 3D cadastral, all these areas are now some of the are rather an attribute towards the smart city planning. And here the geospatial technology plays very important role, because they can allow you to develop these type of models. They can allow you to ultimately perform any type of query analysis. They can allow you to do modeling. All those aspects are being available. So basically, I will not go into the technical part of this. Rather, I would like to show you some of the use cases where this particular technology has been used. Now, here what you see is one of the building. This is our geoinformatics department, and this building. What we did is we have used the satellite data. We have used the latest technology on the city models, and then developed a solar potential estimation for a given area. Here you can see that along the equinox angle and calculating the sun earth geometry, you can get how much solar potential you can extract from a given area. So this is a classic example that how this technology can help you to create these type of data sets, and ultimately you can do some simulation or what if scenarios which can help you to get some estimation about the solar potential. Another area, or I would like to mention, is the noise propagation, which is also an important area, because this is always a challenge to get these noise propagation from in a spatio-temporal domain. So the important thing is, here we have used this particular city modeling technique, and here you can see that the noise propagation data which we have collected from the ground has been extrapolated, interpolated, and according to those different interpolation techniques, simulation techniques, we could able to show that how the noise is varying all across the different time domains. So you can see that there is a good analysis which has been carried out by integrating the field data, by integrating the semantic data, as well as by integrating the geometrical properties of the building. So this is an example that how you can use this geospatial technology for various application. Another interesting area is a 3D virtual reality, or I would say an indoor logistics. So this, if you can see that you can create these type of models, and like we have been talking about archaeological sites. So these type of 3D models can be created by making use of either the geoinformatics way of creating the buildings like Google SketchUp also, or City Engine, or you can make use of terrestrial laser scanner field instruments, which can ultimately provide the exact information regarding the inner textures. And not only that, you can use this information for indoor logistics, for indoor navigation, as well as routing and asset development. So a lot of innovations are possible by making use of these technologies, and ultimately when you digitized all those data sets, you can really use them for various applications. Now here I would like to tell you that there are areas where in fact I'm not sure how many audience are very much familiar with the concept of the data cubes, which are now emergent in the area of geoinformatics, especially the data sets which was in the form of relational data, that is rows and column. Now they are coming up with multi-dimensional data, because whenever you want to store the different type of attributes for a given data, it is really difficult for you to store them. So for that, there are concept of multi-dimensional cubes which are now emergent, and people can ultimately make use of these cubes in order to extract the information. You can apply some roll up or drill down operation to extract those critical information which is not possible with the two-dimensional data sets. So OLAP is one of the concept called online analytical processing, which allows you to develop these type of cubes and ultimately can provide you some very critical analytics which is useful for a given organization. So now here, this is a classic example of the new data cubes which are coming in the era of satellite data. So basically, the objective of these data cubes is that the user will directly get the pre-processed data, that is the analysis-ready data, where you don't have to provide any pre-processing on the data sets like geometric corrections or radiometric corrections and all those things. Now, because of these availability of data cubes, the accessibility of the data will be user-friendly, and people who are putting a lot of efforts in creating those basic layers will not be confined. Rather, they will directly focus on the outputs, because they are not spending much time on pre-processing. They are not spending much time on indenting the data. Rather, they will make use of these data cubes, which might be available in future. There is some efforts by Australian Geospatial Data Cube. There are efforts by Google Earth Engine, which are trying to provide the analysis-ready data so that user can directly use the satellite data and come up with their products. So these are examples. Like there might be a possibility that all these data, the satellite data sets will be available in the form of plugin or APIs, and people can make use of open source software. They have to just link these data, and once this data is linked, you are able to extract the information. So I would like to also mention few developments with respect to the web applications, because earlier times people were only confined to a simple centralized data repository, but now we are in the era of web services. So here the distributed data has to be provided. People are more interested to consume the web services, or they want to create more web services, so that people are not limited to the platforms. Rather, they can directly access those web services through those platforms. So basically, if you see the overall concept of these distributed services, accessibility is the interoperability and standards. Like if somebody wants to use these type of data sets, they have to make use of the interoperability. And OGC, Open Geospatial Consortium, is a consortium of more than 500 stakeholders who are where industry is also the partner, government agencies are also the partner, so many other agencies are the partner, and they are providing the open specification data. Open specification data means that you can directly develop your own services by making use of these specifications. And once you use these specifications, the interoperability among the user becomes simple. So these are some of the classic examples of these type of web applications. Now I would like to mention you one of the important portal which is already, though we are having the older version, but new version is likely to be launched, that is called Indian Bioresource Information Network. Now here in this particular portal, this will be a unique portal in the country, which will have plethora of data on species databases. Basically here we will be having 45,000 species data, which is coming from different stakeholders. Now here we have around 13 partners who will be providing these data sets. In fact, many of them have already provided. Some data is coming in the form of centralized repository, and some data is coming in the form of the services. So basically, you can see that there is data on plants data, there is data on animals, there is data on, in fact, chromosomes, there is data on the medicinal plant. A lot of data sets are there, and in fact, all these data sets will be available. So basically, if you see this particular portal will be at present, you can access ibin.gov.in, but the new portal is likely to become to be available in the public domain within 2 to 3 months. So there basically we are trying to provide an open platform on biodiversity, and here we are making use of the global standards, the standards with respect to the data dissemination, how all the plant data has to be created, what are the partners involved. The modeling will be available on the web domain. There are few applications on big data for species identification. Some analytics will be there on the data sets, because if you perform any type of modeling on these data sets, it is better if you get some results in the form of analytics. There are few spatial data dissemination, like we are providing the APIs, REST APIs, like web services, as well as the OGC services for the accessibility of the spatial and as well as the species data. There are a few developments on the citizen science related project, like we have developed mobile apps for collecting the data on species watch or species loss. All those different type of mobile applications have been developed. We have also developed a satellite telemetry data, which is coming from the bird, which we have tagged recently, and we could able to see the migration of that bird. So, and also we are making use of state-of-art infrastructure in order to provide the accessibility of those data sets. So these are the voluminous data which will be available. The most important part is that the challenges in handling these data sets, because here what you see is the variety of data which is there in our in this particular type of portal. There were challenges of organizing this data. There were challenges of storing this data. There were challenges of disseminating this data. There were challenges on how to basically provide the way of providing the I would say the different dimensions of those data sets. So there were challenges, and even the last challenge was on the data quality part. So we really had to provide the state-of-art techniques so that we are able to provide different dimension data on a single platform. So this will be our portal where all the species data will be available in the form of services. So maybe I will not spend much time. There will be a field guides which can allow you to identify the species. So this is a satellite telemetry application where we have tagged pied cuckoo, which is considered to be a migratory bird, and also one of the indicator of Indian monsoon. So we have tagged this bird in Uttarakhand, which was a really difficult task for us. And once after the tagging, we could able to locate that bird. And we are providing the web services. In fact, this services will be in the protected domain, and you can see the how the bird is migrating from one place to another. And also at this point of time, this bird has moved from Uttarakhand to Western Ghats, and now it has gone to South Africa. So it was a unique study which was carried out under this project, and this will be available in our portal, and the dissemination part will be accessible. This is an area that is a citizen science, which is considered to be an important information, because many areas you are limited because of the satellite coverage, because of the satellite pass. But if you really interested to have the grassroots information from the public, the citizen science is one of the important tool where you can use this. And this particular technology has been proven in disasters, earthquake in Nepal, as well as in Haiti. There were many demonstrations of this technology where you are providing the information of the ground truth. And in fact, many mobile apps have been developed which make use of the citizen science or a crowdsourcing information. In fact, there are different level of citizen science which are involved. Like it all depends upon the participation of a particular citizen. Like that citizens can be involved at the basic level where we call it crowdsourcing. It can be a little bit further. It could be a distributed intelligence, or we can go up to the extreme citizen science where the person is involved up to the problem definition, up to the analysis, up to the overall results. So that is the different type of citizen science approach which is provided. And here you can see the crowdsourcing, distributed intelligence, participatory science, and extreme citizen science. So these are the really important approaches which are being practiced all across the world. So I would like to give you an example of COVID-19, where this particular information was used up to its maximum potential. In fact, during COVID-19, the cases, it was really difficult for the ministry to really get the exact number of cases. There are approaches on contact tracing where the mobile apps have been used up to its maximum potential. But the use of citizen science ultimately helped. In fact, there are data which was coming through, rather I would say, through direct mobile apps. There were data which was coming through Twitter. There was data which was coming through press bulletin. Everything was integrated together, and this type of information was coming in almost near real-time mode. So that is one of the mechanism where you can use this technology, and it can be provided with a lot of information. So I would like to share one of the classic example where we have used this particular technology of geospatial solution with citizen science in Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. This was a classic demonstration of the technology where we have understood, we have taken the requirement of municipal corporation, and that how they are unable to handle the garbage related problem. They might be aware of the areas where there are authorized garbage location, but there are so many unauthorized garbage sites which are really difficult for them to take care of them, and also to go for cleaning and all. And even there were limitation with respect to mechanization. There were limited manpower resources. Many problems were there. Now, in order to, we have understood their problems, and according to it, we developed overall end-to-end solution where we provided the 2 mobile apps and 1 dashboard. And these mobile app, one mobile app was used to collect, that was a citizen app which was used to collect the garbage location, and once those locations are captured, it directly goes to the dashboard, and there the municipal administrator can directly assign vehicle. It can assign the task to different resources available, and once you can do it with ward wise, and once it is done with ward wise, the ward officer can assign that task to the cleaner, and cleaner has also got an app which will provide that these locations has to be cleaned, and there will be an optimal path. So a lot of resource optimization was done, and in fact within I would say the limited time, you are able to clean most of the areas. So this was demonstrated in Dehradun, and also this particular application was demonstrated in most of the ISRO centers, and this was one of the unique solution which was developed by us, and we also got copyright from Government of India. In fact, whatever the solution we have developed, many private entrepreneurs, they have modified this, and they are providing these type of solutions to various areas. Another example is GeoHealth and GIS. I think this is need of an hour, because the geospatial, let me tell you that GIS technology is not new. Why? Because this concept was evolved way back in 1854 by John Snow, who was basically the epidemiologist, and ultimately he could able to relate location with health. Means that there was a cholera outbreak in UK, and it was really difficult for the doctors to understand whether it was due to air pollution or it was due to water pollution. But it was John Snow. But it was actually John Snow who ultimately provided a link between the location and the health. And that was the emergence of GIS. And he was considered to be the father of epidemiology, who has linked the health with the location. So that is the most important thing. So basically, if you are able to develop a relationship between people, location, time, and health, you can really do provide a lot of solutions where you can amalgamate GIS along with health epidemiology. So you can see that you can provide this technology not only to understand the spread of the disease, not only to understand the hotspot areas, not only to understand the cluster analysis or so many other applications, but also you can provide solutions with respect to the healthcare facilities, or where the mobilization of the healthcare facilities can be there. Even you can relate the disease with the environmental parameters, which ultimately can allow some of the relationship where you can counter those problems. So a lot of scope is there with respect to GeoHealth, and one can really work on those areas where geospatial technology can ultimately provide the solution. This is one of the papers which I have recently published, where the geospatial technology has been used for infectious disease surveillance use case of COVID. Here, in fact, a lot of geospatial, like hotspot analysis, contact tracing, the machine learning, how all those things can be used by making use of geospatial technology. Now here I would like to mention that there is a lot of data sets which are which are now coming up. And it is really not possible for any of the system, any GIS system, where they can handle these type of data sets. Because when I talk about data, the velocity, so many different parameters are part of those big data sets. So why? Because once you are able to integrate these data sets, you can really come up with a knowledge base which can be used for decision making. So there are different type of velocities, rather I would say different V's of big data which are being talked about, like volume of data. When you talk about volume of data, there are data which is coming from satellite, there are data which is coming from your mobile phones, there are data which is coming from different sources like Twitter, so many other sources. It is really difficult for the any organization to handle this. Even there is a variety of data. You are talking about video data. You are talking about the social media data. You are talking about the satellite data. Different type of variety of data is coming. Different velocity of data means the speed of data which is coming out with different ways or means, like IoTs and so many other sources of data sets are available. The fourth part is the veracity of the data, which talks about the uncertainty, means are we taking care of the data quality parameters? Because if you integrate all these data sets without considering the uncertainty, it is really difficult for you to ultimately understand what is the outcome of those. So it is really important to understand the veracity of the data, wherein the data quality can be spelled out to the user. So once it starts integrating. So this is a classic example of the Twitter analytics, where you can see that the Twitter people, there is a soccer match between USA and Portugal, and you can easily see if there is a goal. You can see that more number of tweets are coming from the country which is having more number of goals. So this is the mechanism by which you can really make use of this technology in order to get the information which is not possible to get from other sources. We have also used the wireless sensors in order to understand the traffic dynamics of a given area. We have installed some good instruments all across the Dehradun city, and where we were basically collecting the signature of the vehicle, which was totally based on Faraday law of induction. And you can see that different type of vehicles have got different signatures. And with this data, it automatically comes to the server, and we are able to identify the type of vehicle. We are able to identify the class of vehicle, the speed, direction, everything. And once the data gets integrated into a big data framework, we are able to understand what type of traffic dynamics is there, what type of the density of vehicles are there, and we can provide the solution to the administration. So there are ways and means by which you can integrate different type of data which has got a geospatial dimension and ultimately provide some logical information. Now, there is a plethora of softwares which are available on open source platforms. So you are not limited towards the commercial software. Rather, you have a series of data sets, a series of softwares which are available in the open source, right from data creation to database management to data to manipulation analysis, and ultimately for visualization. So even for web applications, every type of data sets are available. The data sets as well as softwares are available, and one can really work on those areas and provide some good solutions. Now, the entire world is now moving towards the analytics, because we have plenty of data which has been created by different ways and means. So ultimately, once you have the data integrated into the system, you are able to do analytics. And once you are able to do the analytics, you can understand, you can get the knowledge base, and from the knowledge, you can go, you can have wisdom. So overall, I can see that the overall, basically, the application of geoinformatics is limited only by the imagination of those who use it. So this is by Mr. Jack Dangermont, who is the CEO of the ESRI International. So with this, I close my talk. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks for the informative session. We are really enriched by your informations, and you have come across new arenas of GIS in the form of the IBIN and all the stuffs, and the cuckoo flying. It's really highly applaudable, and we hope that IIRS alongside with other MNCs are really working hard for the flagship projects that our country will boast of in the near future. Thank you. Thanks for your time. And for all the participants, I would like to say that we will provide you the link for the certification. Kindly fill it up for your certificate of participation. Now I would like to call Dr. Nakul Parashar, the director of Vigyan Prasar. Dr. Parashar, you're here, sir?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Dr. Parashar is a doctorate in applied physics and master's in computer science and physics. He has worked in academic, government, corporate, information science, KPO, legal information sectors, and he had been a university level researcher, teacher, business developer, and operational risk manager for content management for various domains like legal, STM, and general content. He has hands-on experience of working in various geographies like the North American, EMEA, and Asia Pacific. Currently, he is the director of the Vigyan Prasar. Dr. Parashar has been entrusted with the responsibility of propagating science and technology communications, popularization, and extension across the nation and beyond the national boundaries. In his past assignments, he had worked as an assistant editor to the Vigyan Pragati, a popular science monthly published by the CSIR, and later as an associate editor of Computer Today from India Today group of magazines. He has authored a number of award-winning books in the science popularization domain and also more than a couple of hundred articles. He continues to follow his passion by bringing his new thoughts and processes and the workflow relevant to the science and technology and communication strategies. May I please welcome Dr. Parashar.
Very warm good afternoon and heading towards a nice chilly evening. Thank you so much for having me on this show and in this event. I guess I was hearing to Dr. Sameer Saran, and it was indeed such a engrossing deliberation by him that I just logged in thinking that the time when we get to the valedictory, I'll just get in. But his lecture, his thoughts, his entire information was so engrossing that I couldn't leave my seat, and I kept on listening to very cautiously, though I'm at work today, and I had some assignments as well to complete. But I thought listening to such a person with so much of intellect, with so much of information, is very rare. So I really thank Dr. Malik and Dr. Rai Chaudhary for having me on this show, and Dr. Sameer Saran. I think it's an opportunity to have met you, and I think we'll certainly continue to be in touch with you because the kind of information that you possess, the kind of experience that you possess. I know GIS does have a lot of formal schools of training and experience available, but the kind of experience, by the virtue of experience, the knowledge, the practical hands-on experience, knowledge that you have is, I guess, is because I've been a teacher at Delhi College of Engineering. I've been with different areas, and I also ran a small startup with GIS way back in 2004. And the kind of knowledge that I have, the kind of presentation that you made was such lucidly presented that anybody could understand. So for Vigyan Prasar, I guess it would be a pleasure for us to invite you and be a part of our endeavor in science communication, popularization, and extension, particularly in the area of geoinformatics. So thank you, Dr. Malik, for having me introduced to Dr. Sameer Saran, and we'll take it forward. And I guess this entire today's seminar that was organized by Dr. Roy Chaudhary has immense potential and content that has been created, and then that can be utilized for the masses. At Vigyan Prasad, which has been into its 30 years of existence, we've been working into science communication, popularization, and extension for the masses. I guess GIS happens to be a very important aspect of science that needs to be disseminated to the masses. It's our responsibility as Indian citizen, as a part of the Constitution of Article 51AH, where Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar rightly said that it's our responsibility to create scientific temper and awareness amongst the masses. The work that you've done is a great job that you've done to bring in a lot of people in these times of pandemic together. So utilizing and taking the advantage of webinars at this point in time has been a great source of information dissemination for the set of people. You don't have to walk out of your offices or places to get attend in-person meetings and seminars. But these kinds of workshops, webinars, on the flip side, have been very beneficial to one and all. So I once again congratulate the organizers of this conference, and I guess people who've attended this, who've registered for this, would have really benefited from this great set of lectures and topics that people have gone through throughout the day. So once again, I know it's time. All of us, for all of you, it has been a long day, and it's my privilege and honor to be a part of this valedictory function. And I guess such important programs need to be such programs need to be taken care of this. And we there's a lot that we as scientists from GIS need to propagate and bring it to the masses. So once again, thank you for having me, and also I congratulate, and I guess this entire day has been a successful day with record number of entries and registrations that you would have had. I would request you to share the proceedings of this seminar. We would be happy to utilize them and probably convert them into something that can be of immense utilization. And information and lectures of this kind are of longer shelf life as far as knowledge is concerned. So it's a great one, and we at Vigyan Prasad would be glad to work closely in order to ensure that all that has been disseminated can be translated, put forth together in something which can then be shared with one and all. So once again, thank you all of you, and I truly appreciate the efforts and especially the persuasion of Dr. Rai Chaudhary for having me, despite there have been wall-to-wall webinars today. I don't know why 19th has been so very, a special day. I have another one. I'll have to jump onto another one which has already started. So with this, I wish you all the best, and thank you so much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Just I would like to take 2 minutes for you, because the program I have already sent, because we have a news channel in YouTube, that is the Maharshi News channel. And I have already sent the link to you in your WhatsApp number. And if you find there are lots of these kind of intellectual discussions we have conducted since the formation of our institution. And hope whatever the speeches you have delivered, we are really privileged that you are with us. And on behalf of SAIARD, I'd like to say that if any kinds of collaboration, if any kinds of support we can provide through our Vigyan Prasad or through our ministry, I will be with you and our whole team with you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So, Devajiti, now we will go for our valedictory vote of thanks. So, please call Ms. Kajri Sengupta.
Yes, sir. I would like to call Ms. Kajri Sengupta for the valedictory vote of thanks. Ma'am, you here?
Yeah, thank you, Debajyoti. Good evening, everyone. What a session it was. I'm sincerely thankful to all the participants and resource person to make this international webinar a grand success. I want to convey my gratitude to our chief guest, Lieutenant General Girish Kumar Sir, Surveyor General of India, SOI, GOI, and really thankful to Dr. Tapatti Banerjee Madam, Director, NATMO. I am thankful to Dr. Samir Saran sir, Head Department of Geoinformatics, Indian Institute of Remote Sensing, for enriching us by his keynote lecture. Moreover, we have Dr. Mathuria, Executive Director, Technical, NMGC, Ministry of Jal Shakti, for his excellent lecture of today. Excellent lecture. Today we have Avinav Walia, School of Architecture and Built Environment, University of Newcastle, Australia, for such an informative talk. We have Professor B.H. Chaudhary sir, specially thankful to Nakul Parasa sir, Director, Vigyan Prashar, New Delhi. I am very much thankful to all the participants, resource person, delegates of today's session. A special thanks to all the members of SAIARD and Dr. Roy Chaudhary for today's session. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Debojyoti.
Thank you. So on this high note, and with the hope that we have a better future tomorrow, we would like to bid adieu to all of you and hope to see you very soon with another very warm welcoming webinar. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all for your time. Thank you.